When I think back on the past few years, it feels like a story that's been slowly writing itself, one I haven't had the courage to take control of. My fiance and I have been together long enough to know each other's rhythms, strengths, and weaknesses, but there's one weakness of mine that continues to bleed into our lives: my inability to defend her in moments that matter. It sounds simple when said aloud, but for me, it's like standing at the edge of a cliff, knowing I should leap, but locking up every single time. Conflict has always been difficult for me, especially with the people closest to me. I grew up keeping the peace, learning that the easiest way to survive was to comply. My parents rarely faced pushback from me. I obeyed, nodded, and did what was expected. That habit followed me into adulthood, and it has left me trapped between two worlds: the one where I want to stand beside my fiancé, and the one where I'm still the obedient child who avoids rocking the boat. One of the clearest examples of this was the cruise. My father had extended the invitation to me and my fiancé. We were excited, talking late into the night about the possibilities, what excursions we might do, how fun it would be to share my family's traditions, how it felt like a real sign of acceptance. The next day, my father called again, saying it would be better to keep it as immediate family. Just like that, the invitation was gone. I didn't ask why. I didn't challenge it. I simply nodded along and passed the message to her as if it were nothing. But it wasn't nothing. It was her being excluded, invited only to be uninvited. It was my silence speaking louder than any defense could have. She looked at me, hurt in her eyes, and I had no excuse. I hadn't stood up for her. Then came the bridal shower conversation. We were sitting in my parents' kitchen, sunlight stretching across the table as my fiancée explained her idea. She wanted the bridal shower 6 months before the wedding to avoid the harsh Canadian winter. It made perfect sense. Practical, thoughtful, hers. But my mom immediately objected, insisting it had to be 2 months before. Her tone wasn't curious, it was firm. My fiancé's face faltered, but she stood her ground. I didn't. I let the conversation pass me by, my lips pressed shut, my thoughts racing but never leaving my mouth. Later, she told me how abandoned she felt, how much it hurt that I didn't echo her voice when we had agreed from the beginning this wedding would be ours, not dictated by others. I couldn't argue with her. She was right. Moments like these have repeated more times than I'd like to admit. Each time I feel myself retreating inward, as though curling up inside my own skin could shield me from the discomfort. I know what I want to say. I know what the right words are. But the second the air grows tense, my throat closes, my heart races, and I freeze. By the time I gather the courage, the moment is gone, and with it, another piece of her trust. My fiancé has always been stronger in these moments. With her family, she defends me without hesitation. She doesn't pause to weigh the fallout. She speaks because she knows I matter, because she knows we matter. I watch her do it with admiration and envy. I wonder what it feels like to have that kind of instinct, to rise to the occasion without second-guessing yourself, to plant your feet firmly in the ground beside the person you love. She gives me that gift, and too often I fail to return it. The weight of it has been heavier lately. After the bridal shower argument, there was a distance between us. She didn't say much at first, but silence often says more than words. I replayed everything in my head, realizing how fragile things become when one person feels unsupported. A marriage isn't built on silence. It's built on partnership, on the certainty that you will not face battles alone. She has given me that certainty, and in return, I've given her hesitation. I know the path I've been on, and I know where it leads if I keep walking it. Love without action is fragile. It doesn't matter how many times I tell her she's my other half or how deeply I believe it, if I can't show it when it counts. Each silence, each failure to defend, chips away at the foundation we've built. I don't want our story to be one of regret, of a man who loved deeply but never found his voice. When I look at her, I see the life I want, the life we've promised each other. I see a woman who deserves to feel cherished, supported, and fought for. I feel the weight of knowing that my silence has left her feeling alone when she should feel most protected. And I know, as hard as it is to break old habits, that I cannot remain in the shadow of my own fear forever. Our story isn't over, not yet. It's being written in the spaces between what I say and what I don't. I can already see the fork in the road, one where I continue to freeze and one where I learn to stand, to speak, to defend the woman I love. I want to believe I can choose the latter. For her, for us, for the story we are still writing together.